Last year, Royal Blood released their third album, titled Typhoons, to mixed reception, to say the least. The dancier, poppier tendencies pushed away some hardcore fans, but pulled in some new ones. So where do I stand on it? I've been a huge fan of Royal Blood for a long time. I've seen them live, which I actually vlogged that on my channel. I've also filmed a reaction to Trouble's Coming and Limbo. I've also covered their music. Someone you used to love, so dark, and one of the first videos I made on this channel was me making a song in the style of Royal Blood. Linked below. But now I've gotten to finally listen to all of Typhoons, and I'm going to rank the tracks from worst to best. I will include the 2 bonus tracks, King and Space, and at the end I'm going to give some general thoughts on the album. Number 13, Million and One. While there aren't any bad songs on this album, some of the songs feel like they just don't add that much to the concept and to the album, and this is one of those. The verse vocals are full of character, the intro synth is sick, makes the song seem promising, the pre-chorus is unique, dark, and haunting, and all this sounds really positive, right? But the chorus is just unfortunately very forgettable. There's interesting chordal choices throughout, but the energy isn't special enough to grab me, and the atmosphere just isn't enough. Slower, moodier tracks like this work, like Sleep, but Sleep builds a filthy atmosphere first. So I appreciate the change in song structure, but it kind of feels like it meanders and doesn't add much to the album beyond the cool Daft Punk vibe in the bridge and outro. Number 12, Who Needs Friends? While the chorus of this is fun and the backing vocals add something, the verses are just very plain. A lot of the Royal Blood songs are fun because they go somewhere exciting in the end, but a lot of this album falls into a more stereotypical song structure. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to compensate for the change, and a couple of songs didn't really do that for me. Every time I listen to this song, I'm entertained, but I hardly can remember what the song sounds like once I stop listening to it. Number 11, Trouble's Coming. This is a fantastic, albeit slightly sanitized introduction to Royal Blood's new era. It is a decent step up from the bottom 2 tracks on the album for me, but it does lack some of the bite of their previous work. The production is strong, albeit, like I said, sanitized. It is very catchy, has a fun bridge, but it doesn't wow me with energy, riffage, production, or atmosphere, although that final pre-chorus does a pretty good job with a solid build-up. This song definitely deserves a place on the album, though, where I think the previous 2 could have been completely removed and we would not be missing much. Number 10, All We Have Is Now. I am a huge fan of what this song does, but it doesn't do much. Every single decision here is amazing, except where to end the song. I listened to this song for the first time without looking at the time, and I expected some sort of huge payoff right when the song cut off. It made me so sad because it had this potential to be a top 10 or top 5 of Royal Blood songs. The melody is dazzling, the piano reminds me of Muse, the atmosphere of Pink Floyd, but with just enough of a unique twist to keep it interesting and engaging. But all it really left me is wanting more. It makes me excited for what the future holds for Royal Blood, because this was so promising. Number 9 is Typhoons. I love the dissonant intro vocal. It's very ambitious, I guess. Some of the riffs here are killer. There's a very nice groove, but I'm not a huge fan of the chorus or the production of the bass here, especially in the verses. It has great energy. It's just not one of my favorites on the album. It has more of that classic Royal Blood feel brought into the era of Typhoons, but I just don't really think it was deserving of the title track or single status personally. It does embody the new era effectively, but it just leaves me wanting a little bit more. Number 8 is Hold On. The vocals in the intro remind me a lot of Supermassive Black Hole by Muse, and that's a huge compliment as one of my favorite songs. There's a fun chromatic descending part in the pre-chorus. The vocoder in the chorus, or I guess choir vocals, sound amazing, but it's still lacking a certain thrashing energy that I would like to see from Royal Blood. Despite that missing though, everything else clicks right into place. A lot of the lower songs didn't grab me in the chorus, but this one kinda does. The full choir of vocals and synths make it more explosive, and sometimes Royal Blood can get stuck in this monotone vocal delivery, especially in the verses, but this song showcased a huge variety of delivery and melody. Now we are on to number 7, which is Mad Visions, and this is where the album really takes a step up for me. I would say everything from here up is great quality Royal Blood music. The building of layers in the first verse is hypnotic, as is the groove. The chorus and pre-chorus are unique and catchy as all heck. I love the use of piano. The drum fill in the second verse is a huge highlight of the entire album for me. It just grabs me. The bridge is lovely and creates, again, a distinct and memorable moment, unlike some in the bottom of the list. I really have nothing negative to say about this one. Like I said, this is where the album gets really good in my opinion. At number 6, we have King, and this is where I have a little bit of a problem with the Royal Blood boys. I had to get a bone to pick with you, okay? Because King, to me, we're going to get to Space in a bit, but King, to me, sounds like a song that absolutely fits on this album. It does sound a little bit like their last album, but the heavy use of synth pulls it enough into the era of Typhoons that I think you could have easily had King on the standard edition of this album and just removed one of the songs that were kind of lower tier. The verse reminds me of Hook, Line, and Sinker, which is a huge compliment. The intro is haunting, epic, and synthy, perfectly fitting to a darker vibe of this particular Typhoons era. No idea why this is not on the album if Boilermaker can make it on. The verse has a strange hip-hop flair that I really love. The chorus is so damn epic, but the end of the first verse into the chorus might be my favorite Royal Blood moment ever. Like seriously, that just gets me so hyped. There's bold production, classic Royal Blood energy. Not every moment of the song grips me though, which is why it's down here at 6, but the highs of this song give me chills. I think it fits into this electronic era, just has a strong bite to it, which is exactly what I want from Royal Blood. Number 5 is Boilermaker. It feels like a totally different album here, but in a sickly amazing way. I wasn't a huge fan of the production on my first listen, but it has grown on me a lot. It sounds a lot like their last album, similarly to King. There are strange choices throughout. I really appreciate the experimentation. The song is dark, heavy, and gritty. The first vocal is pristine. I love the strange rhythmic cadence to it. The bridge is the obvious highlight of the song though, it just grabs you with grandeur. It's raw energy, a strange structure, and a sound that I adore. Number 4 is Oblivion, and holy Jesus, the tones and riffs on this song are nasty. I think this is what people expected when they heard Royal Blood was going dancey. It has their classic energy and wonky riffs in a more accessible format and sound. Every section has something that you can't deny, from the strange bouncy synths in the intro and pre-chorus, to the riffage and vocals of the verse, to the spastic chorus. The bridge is dark, yet keeps the vibe going from the rest of the album, and again the bass tones here are some of the best from Royal Blood. I think if this was the album, and kind of like a snapshot of what the rest of the album would be, people would have probably been a little bit less upset with this one. Number 3, we have a surprise pick, because I know that a lot of people are not huge fans of this song, but we have Either You Want It. So why do I love this one? Well, the strange shuffle sound here makes it just hugely stand out from the rest of the album for me. It's kind of like syncopated and weird. It reminds me of the song Forgiveness from Paramore, but brought to the distorted, crazy land of Royal Blood. It's a little bit brighter than some of their other songs, but a big complaint for me is that the weaker songs on this album are forgettable, and this song is not even a little bit. The strange high-pitched vocals mixed with such deep, gritty bass is a perfect juxtaposition. The cadence of the song is what pulls me in the most, though. It's just got this really strange swing to it. And the bridge just doesn't let up with the experimentation. It has this weird theremin sound to it. It's an underrated gem, and the drums are a huge standout. And now here on the top 2, we have the top tier Royal Blood songs. These are songs that will stand the test of any album and would be in the top tier of any of their songs they've written. And number 2 is Space. Now, for most people this is probably number 1, but I feel sick this is not on the album. It is unbelievably massive Queens of the Stone Age vibes though. So I do see a little bit more of why this one couldn't make it versus King. Josh Homme helped produce this, just like Boilermaker. But I get chills when the vocals come in on this song. There is a disgusting groove and vibe. The way things layer in, when the bass verse comes in too. The vocals are refined and mature, very different from a lot of the rest of the album. The delivery even just sounds more like Queen's. The intro is lengthy and ambitious. It's a top 5 Royal Blood song in my opinion. The pre-chorus to chorus is a perfect build-up to payoff. There's a kind of like a clean guitar tone in this one. It's not only the bass. You hear that throughout the intro and outro of this song. Again, I'm so sad this is not on the album, but I can see that this one just does not have that synthy vibe of the other ones. But When this song is so good, I would adjust the rest of the album to make room for this song. That's how good it is. The vocals and harmonies are a huge highlight, where on some of the album, it's just good. The outro is perfect. It's got layering, adding everything I love about the duo. And then we get to the number one, the crown jewel of the album. Number one is Limbo. This song was just made for me. The intro is perfect, the darkest, grittiest groove of the entire album, layered with vocals and distorted bass, but it's still dancey with its cadence and delivery. The drumming is phenomenal here, just grabbing you by the ears and sucking you right in. The chorus is catchy and perfectly produced. The backup vocals pop, but the second verse goes even grittier to add variation to the song. It is so fun to play on guitar and bass, and I love that ascending build-up. And from 2 minutes and 30 seconds to the end is like Out of the Black or How Did We Get So Dark. It's extended in this strange dancey version. It's got that crazy outro energy. It just never lets up, and it's the perfect mix of old and new. I can see this and Space interchangeably depending on my mood, but I return to this more, so it's gonna win for now. So what are my overall thoughts on this album? It is consistent. It's consistently pretty solid. It's got no real terrible songs, but it does have some that are just a little bit forgettable. It does not hit the highs of other Royal Blood albums as often, but I definitely enjoy it, and I appreciate that they're developing over time. I'm really interested to see where they go next. Now this is all with including the 2 bonus tracks, so it's a great listen including those, but I'm not sure how it stacks against the previous 2 Royal Blood albums, so subscribe for a ranking of their 3 albums coming soon, as well as a top 10 Royal Blood songs video. Now let me know what you guys thought of Typhoons down below, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.